Youth entrepreneurship is seen as the panacea for African growth, a strategy that will reduce unemployment and alleviate poverty. But like all entrepreneurs, there are notable challenges: access to finance, investor confidence, and general lack of infrastructure, to name a few. And in today's episode, we look at the barriers faced by young business people here in Botswana. My name is Penyo Moroka, and this is Doing Business in Botswana. Entrepreneurs and the new businesses they establish can play a critical role in the development and well-being of their societies. Traditionally, taking up a monthly salaried job was encouraged for the security of income. But not all young people are taking this route. Some have decided to swim against the tide, and Urban Soul is a brand that is on the rise in Botswana. The brainchild of 32-year-old Molefi Nkwete, this business was born on the streets of Gaborone, and today Urban Soul is a prominent urban lifestyle brand that imports, designs, manufactures, and markets streetwear clothing.
When I started the business, was the university days when I was doing my electrical and electronic engineering at University of Botswana. That's when I started, selling t-shirts from my backpack based on the love and the influence of hip-hop culture. I started selling t-shirts to my friends, my schoolmates, and guys from outside, just guys around town, which is the city. I got the first shop in 2005. That's where Mafia Soul, which is now Urban Soul, started.
Financing was the biggest hurdle Molefi faced when he established his business. At 24, he found financial institutions were skeptical.
Access to funding as an entrepreneur, when you are starting, half of the time, you realize that people can't really visualize your dream or your opportunity. So half of the time that is tough for them to buy into the idea. So you have to use the little that you have, use the little savings that you have to build the business. In my case, I had to use the university allowance that I was getting paid at that time, which was like about $100 or 800 pula in our currency. So that's one of the main challenges, startup capital. You have a great idea, but startup capital, it's always a big challenge. And the fact that I was young was also a main challenge, because people don't believe in young people. In most cases, when they see you are young, half of the time people don't really pay attention. They don't even give you a chance.
Initially, Urban Soul only sold imported brands from the USA, but now the company designs and manufactures its own product line, which is fast becoming popular amongst young Botswana.
The reason why we started our own line was, most of it is what I learned in the US, that you can be a store and selling your own product. So we import our stuff mainly from the US. Why the US? Is because most of the brands that we sell are American brands. We get some of our products locally from local designers, guys who are starting up, who are also trying to break into the fashion industry. We also carry that product.
To keep the brand fresh and relevant, the company recently embarked on a rebranding campaign. Initially, the company was called Mafia Soul, but after extensive research and consultation, decided to change the name to the more subtle Urban Soul.
We needed to sort of position ourselves in a specific market space and clearly communicate that. We developed and reconstructed the vision. We sort of looked at new product and services that the company will have now and later. And we also developed like core values and the company philosophy. So it was from all of that I then developed a design conception. That, okay, fine, how am I going to visually communicate this newness? How am I going to symbolize the new company? Naming was the first process we started with. We needed to not really go far from what we had, but make it a little bit friendly, as much as, the company is expanding. So we needed to sort of come up with something that would sell the company and friendly, like I said, as we move forward.
Urban Soul realized the need to continuously improve their brand and concentrate on their target market. The company is now trying to make inroads into the region, But this presents its own set of challenges.
We have decided that as a business, we can't just stay in Botswana and expect that we'll grow and become a big business. So our desire is to go into Africa, and obviously Africa, as you know, has a lot of challenges as well. You know, compliance issues, the laws are different, so we have to scrutinize each and every market where we want to break in. South Africa, we've tested the waters in South Africa in 2010 for the last, I think 2010 and 2011 and 2012. We know where we are in terms of the brand. People love it, people know it. We started a store, we've been running 2 stores there which are currently under relocation. So that's where we want to really focus in terms of expansion. You know, we want to focus on South Africa, going into SADC, you know, which is Namibia, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Mozambique, and also trying to look into other countries maybe in the next 5 to 10 years.
Urban Soul is a true reflection of the shifting trends in Botswana. Traditional employment patterns are changing, and more young people are looking to start their own businesses. Under the roof of this mall is a man who is trying to change the way Botswana eat, and his name is Lesego Matware. The founder of Health Generation, Lesego adopted the idea of a juice bar in the United States of America, and 4 months down the line, the company is doing better than expected here in Botswana.
Health Generation is the first and only juice bar in Gaborone, founded 2014 March. We opened our doors on March 7th, and it was to cater for the health-conscious people. There's different kinds of generation that are looking and seeking for a healthier alternative meal. So after doing a lot of research and being one of those people who wanted it, including my family, a decision was made that a juice bar, Botswana needs a juice bar. It needs healthy snacks on the go. So that's what Health Generation is. It's a juice bar that sells juices, freshly squeezed smoothies, some sandwiches, fresh sandwiches, and salads. Very simple product, caters to the healthy consumer, and it's a stop and go.
Health Generation too had its challenges.
Some of the requirements put by the banks for young entrepreneurs are way too high. And if I'm starting a business, what you're asking me is for somebody who already has been in business. 90% of the time, young entrepreneurs, they don't even have a track record. So why would I have a track record if I'm starting? So the biggest challenge was financing, which we had to sit down and figure out a way because all the banks turned me down. And I don't think it's because it was just based on the merit of no record or who you are. But you have to understand the product that we're selling has never been done in Botswana. So it's almost like going and asking for money for something foreign, which has never been done. If you're asking for money to sell cars have been sold. They know the business. But you're telling us that you're squeezing juices. No one is doing that here, Lesego. So finance was the biggest problem. Getting the market to understand what is it we're trying to do was another challenge. But if you build something that's right, that you believe in, the passion will show. It'll come through. It'll spit through your eyes, and the consumer will be happy. But the biggest challenge was finance and getting the market to understand the product we're trying to sell.
To get the business started, Lesego committed his life savings, and with some financial assistance from family members, Health Generation became what it is today.
I'd spent some time overseas. I had worked, went to school, worked, saved some money. My mom had just retired as well. And we just sat down and said, this is it. We're going to risk everything. And if it doesn't go right, at least we tried it. So that's how we got over it. I put in my whole life savings. My family put in some money, and we started it. And it's interesting now because not getting finance teaches you something. I could have just sat down and said no finance, but it taught me other ways. And if you can do it without finance, then you can do it better with finance. But you realize that later in life, you necessarily don't need the finance.
Health Generation prides itself in selling quality fresh products, and by working closely with local farmers, they can ensure consistency of produce.
We pride ourselves in selling fresh produce. And how we do that is we order our produce on a 2 to 3 day basis. We don't over order for a week or two. If we place an order today of bananas or apples, we placed it on Thursday, we know that by Saturday, our apples are gone. I can't afford to take a chance with this product. It's fresh, that's what we pride ourselves in. So we have to deal with fresh products. So by being able to deal directly with local farmers, it guarantees us a higher degree of freshness because it's not crossing borders, it's not coming from countries far away, but it's something that I know I can place an order, and if you have it in the farm, you pick, the next morning it's delivered. So local farmers are a big part of our philosophy.
Health Generation plans to increase the number of outlets in capital Gaborone and have further plans to venture into South Africa first and the region.
Right now, at the moment, we have one shop based in Airport Junction, Gaborone, which is Botswana's super mall. We were very fortunate to get this little tuck shop. I call it a tuck shop. We're running under 24 square meters. And that's for a reason. It's because we don't have a kitchen. We don't want a kitchen. Our plan is open plan, it's transparency. We don't go in the kitchen and come with a plate looking good. We do what you eat in front of you. If you don't like it, you tell us. If you want any addition, you tell us. Our expansion plan is to go into different areas of Gaborone. Start small, build something, have an organic growth model, and expand. We aspire to cross the border. We're already engaging with a few malls in Joburg, Melrose Arch. We're engaging with Atrium on 5th, which is a center new development. And we've already had talks with Morningside Center Mall. And these are malls where you would think this is a franchise. And we're thinking, we're not a franchise, but we've got the franchise attitude. So I'm not going to be happy with one store in Airport Junction.
Entrepreneurs are constantly challenging rules and making mistakes in an effort to drive their businesses forward, which is why Lesego believes that mentors are invaluable.
It's the vision that carries you. It's staying humble and understanding that we're still young. We're allowed to make mistakes. But the biggest thing I can ever say to any young upcoming entrepreneur, find yourself a mentor. Research. We spend so much time on Facebook. Find out who does what that you're trying to do. Reach out to them. Follow them. Read a book. Get advice. Get as much knowledge as possible in your industry. So when you start, you're almost 80% there. So to me, it's about it's a mixture of things. You have to find yourself a mentor who can mentor you. You have to see your vision and stick with it. You have to be passionate about what you're doing. But most importantly, understand that you can make mistakes. We're all in here to make mistakes. I've made more mistakes than the right choices, but I'm still moving ahead because mistakes only make you better.
Despite all the challenges facing young entrepreneurs in Botswana, economic growth rates are rising. This suggests that opportunities exist for entrepreneurs, and some of these opportunities have already resulted in a lot of local business successes. From myself, Penyo Moroka, join me again next week.